19 more random lore, facts, and secrets in Halo 3. Do I wish there was one more so I could call it 20? Hell yeah. But I guess that's just not in the cards for me today. If you like this stuff, we already have part 1 on the channel, and you should go check that out. If you're interested in more Halo content in the future, consider subscribing. Enjoy.
The Da Vinci Code is a mediocre movie, but the concept is interesting, and seeing it in Halo in a unique way adds more weight to it for me. In Halo 3, certain objects known as Da Vinci Code objects can be found in some of the game's levels. These objects feature a colorful UV map grid texture, a tool commonly used by 3D modelers to map textures onto objects. The grid consists of a spectrum of colors with tiles labeled by lowercase letters A to P, repeating in a shifted pattern on each row. These objects were never meant to be seen by players, as their primary purpose was functional rather than decorative. Game designers often use these types of placeholder objects, typically setting them to be invisible, to control in-game effects like gravity lifts or map boundaries. For example, on the multiplayer map Sand Trap, orange beams fire into the sand whenever a player tries to exit the map, which we've all tried to do before. These beams trigger hidden brute landmines buried beneath the perimeter. While the beams themselves are harmless, the resulting explosions are lethal, with the kills attributed to the mysterious Guardians. Players curious about these beams can use Theater Mode's Pan Cam to exit the map and investigate the towers, where these objects can be found near their upper sections. On the map Heretic, untextured cubes, nicknamed Da Vinci Cubes, are hidden inside the lifts at the map center. To access one, players can use a machine gun turret in the Forged Turret glitch to enter the small compartments housing those cubes. The nickname Da Vinci Code objects likely stems from their resemblance to the cryptex device featured in the Da Vinci Code, blending a bow to pop culture with their mysterious in-game functionality.
Known by many names including the Final Grunt, Jerk Store Grunt, or Seinfeld Grunt, this unique character stands out for a special dialogue and memorable appearance in Halo 3. He's the last grunt players can encounter in the game, making him an unexpected finale for fans paying close attention. You'll find this grunt hiding on a narrow ledge during the final mission, Halo. As you approach the UNSC forward on Adon's hangar, look for a rocky arch on the right. Drive your vehicle slowly and you'll spot a narrow pathway branching off to the side. At the very end of the ledge, you'll see the cowering grunt, delivering his one-of-a-kind lines before you finish the mission. When playing solo in the game, the Arbiter does have a habit of firing the Warthog's chain gun at the final grunt, often killing him before players get a chance to hear his dialogue. To prevent this, it's best to park the Warthog in a spot where the Arbiter doesn't have a clear view of the grunt before approaching him on foot. Also, just for your consideration, if you care, just know that finding this guy might lead you to not finishing the mission because the platforms will collapse to the Pelican.
Hey, Demon! The Jerk Store called, and they're all out of you! Who are you? Stolen at the age of 6 and conscripted into the military? Okay, look, you let me live. I got the fist of front. Look, I'll be the bottom. I'll polish your boots. I'll polish your helmet. It's the gas. When I'm on the gas, I don't know what I'm doing half the time.
The final grunt has several unique quirks. If he's killed while speaking, his corpse will continue delivering its lines. If he's knocked off the ledge, however, his voice will be cut off entirely. And for some reason, you'll die as well, or at least I did. I don't know. Interestingly, this grunt is the only Covenant enemy players encounter in the final mission, and he holds the record for the longest monologue among the game's special dialogue grunts. His infamous Jerk Store line nods to a joke from the sitcom Seinfeld, where George Costanza unsuccessfully tries to deliver a clever comeback. Another reference, It's the Gas, alludes to the song Now It's Just the Gas, from the musical Little Shop of Horrors. If you activate the IWHBYD skull, it lets regular grunts deliver snippets of the final grunt's dialogue on other levels. That way you don't actually have to find the little bugger. But come on, are you really going to miss out on your chance to see this guy?
A small recurring detail in Halo 2 and Halo 3 is the half-naked guy, also known as the Lonely Soul. This amusing character is a depiction of Bungie co-founder Jason Jones dressed casually in gym shorts. In Halo 2, Jason Jones makes the smallest of appearances during the cutscene in the mission Gravemind. To see him, players need to start the level on Legendary difficulty. After Gravemind finishes speaking to the Arbiter and Master Chief, the camera transitions to High Charity, where brutes defend the prophets against the elites. As a grunt climbs an arch and the camera pans to the crowd, Jason Jones can be spotted standing among the grunts. A blink and you'll miss it moment that is usually missed, probably due to the intensity of the scene, and because you're playing on Legendary. In Halo 3, Jason Jones makes yet another hidden appearance, this time near the 7th terminal. In the hallway adjacent to the terminal, players will find 2 rooms, one brightly lit with a vertical energy beam and another darker room with a horizontal energy beam and a deep lethal chasm. To uncover this secret, look toward the left side of the dark room where a small nook is tucked away. In theater mode, you can detach the camera and explore the area, or you can reach it in-game by using a combination of rocket or grenade jumps, crouch jumping, and carefully navigating the ledges. Once inside, you'll find a floating cardboard cutout of Jason Jones, staring down at the floor with his hands behind his head. This odd addition is one of Bungie's many odes to its development team, giving fans something fun and unexpected to discover in the Halo universe, but only if you know what you're looking for to begin with.
Shikai Wong, a senior artist at Bungie, found inspiration for the iconic hunters in an unexpected place: Gundams. Drawing from the sleek, imposing designs of these famous mechs, he helped shape the hunters into the towering, heavily armored juggernauts we see in the game. The influence can be seen in their bulky, mechanical-like appearance and their disciplined, almost robotic movements on the battlefield. This inspiration gave the hunters a unique, otherworldly feel while still maintaining a sense of formidable power and precision that makes them one of the most memorable enemies in the Halo universe. Here's some of his tweets from his personal Twitter describing his process of the creation. I'll leave a link below if you want to check out some more of his thought process. It's really interesting if you love Halo, and of course you do. You're watching a Halo 3 video in 2025. When the Flood makes their unexpected arrival on Earth, the Arbiter, not realizing the full extent of the threat, asks if they're Covenant reinforcements. In response, Master Chief simply says, "Worse."
What is it? More brutes?
Worse.
Funnily enough, this brief one-word reply is the only time in the entire game that Master Chief actually speaks directly to the Arbiter. Despite fighting side by side and facing countless challenges together, their interactions are mostly limited to actions rather than words. This small but impactful exchange highlights the gravity of the situation and of Chief's concise, no-nonsense demeanor.
On the multiplayer map High Ground, players can discover a unique audio feature within the computer room. After a brief period, the radio situated beneath the larger computer transitions from emitting static and Morse code to playing iconic tracks from the Halo trilogy, such as Under Cover of Night. An early indication that a song is about to play is when the radio sounds like an FM station, slightly out of tune. Notably, in Forge mode, this radio can be relocated to different areas of the map, and it will continue to broadcast music from its new position. Apparently, the developers loved High Ground, as not only did they add the Cortana reference we mentioned earlier, but also this small tidbit as well. I think we all can appreciate the little things the team at Bungie added to this map. This game features an impressive total of 39,377 lines of dialogue, which adds a lot of depth and personality to the experience. What's really cool is that most of these lines aren't just tied to specific moments in the story, they're actually triggered dynamically during gameplay. This means that characters will react to different situations, making the world feel more alive and immersive. Whether it's banter between allies, enemy taunts, or situational callouts, these lines help create a more unpredictable experience every time you play.
Back in Halo 1, character facial animations were pretty basic because the developers only included a single bone in the face, which controlled just the jaw movement. This meant that facial expressions were pretty limited and not very detailed. However, in this game, they've taken a huge leap forward by adding over 30 bones to the character models' faces. With this level of detail, characters can now show a much wider range of emotions and more realistic expressions, making interactions feel more lifelike and immersive. It's a big improvement that really enhances the storytelling and overall experience. During development, several weapons were conceptualized but ultimately cut before making it into the final game. One of these was the missile launcher, which was intended to serve as an alternative to the rocket launcher. It would have fired a higher quantity of missiles with less damage per shot, providing a different style of explosive power. Though it didn't make the cut, the idea evolved into the missile pod, a heavy weapon that players have to wield like a turret. Another scrap version was the excavator, an early version of what would later become known as the mauler. It was originally designed to be wielded by brutes, but not much is known about how it would have functioned in gameplay. Similarly, the spike pepper box was an early iteration of the spiker, but instead of functioning like an SMG, it was envisioned as a fast-firing spike pistol, offering a different approach to the brute weapon lineup. And perhaps the most intriguing of the cut weapons was the Guardian Eye, which was tied to the scrap level Guardian Forest. The idea was that players could rip out the eye of a large sentinel and use it as a weapon, which to me sounds familiar to the Sentinel beam, which might have just been a weaker version to the eye.
In the expansive universe of Halo, developers have worked on intricate details that pay respect to internal team jokes and hidden narratives. One such intriguing element is the recurring hippo motif, subtly embedded across multiple installments of the series. The origin of this motif dates back to December 6, 2001, when Bungie team member Matt penned an extensive piece discussing hippos and their intended role in Halo Combat Evolved. He concluded with a hint. This cryptic message spurred dedicated players to scour the game for any trace of these elusive creatures. Their efforts were rewarded when they discovered that the spent shotgun shells, once ejected and observed closely, preferably with the sniper rifle zoom function, bore a tiny hippo illustration. The tradition continued in Halo 3, where on the multiplayer map Foundry, a small picture of a hippo was concealed within a pile of debris located in the back right corner. To spot this subtle inclusion, players often utilize a sniper rifle scope. Kind of interesting. We all know that Jeeps started as a military vehicle and then became the hunk of plastic civilian vehicles that exist today, made by the likes of Stellantis. But did you know there is a civilian version of the Warthog M12 Force application vehicle? The advertisement for this was, "It's Beauty and the Beast," and the craft itself was referred to as the Hog, or the Yellow Golden Warthog. The Golden Warthog is obtainable within Halo 2 Anniversary's Forge, and it has a slightly higher speed than the other Warthog variants. A billboard for a gold civilian Warthog can be spotted on the Halo 2 multiplayer maps Headlong, Turf, Terminal, and District, and the campaign level Metropolis. In Headlong's Halo Reach remake, Breakneck, another similar poster can be seen. If you really think about it, not only is the Warthog similar to Jeep, but it's also similar to Hummer and the Humvee.
In the campaign level The Ark, players can discover an intriguing detail shortly after neutralizing the formidable Scarab. After successfully dismantling the Scarab, direct your attention to a structure on the right. Ascend this slope, overcoming resistance from more brutes, grunts, and jackals. After clearing out these Muppets, a Pelican dropship will arrive, deploying reinforcements, including the Arbiter. Instead of proceeding into the building with 343 Guilty Spark, veer to the right, past the recently landed Pelican to locate a subtle pathway. Carefully follow this trail to its end, where you'll observe an unexplained bloodstain on the wall or floor. The origin and purpose of this bloodstain remains ambiguous, leading to speculation about its intended role in the game. Given the absence of human characters in the vicinity, the source of blood is particularly questionable. Plus, it never fades like the Marine or Covenant soldier blood. Did the developers mean to add a scene of violence here? We may never know. Firefight was actually planned to be a feature in the game from the start, but for various reasons, it ended up getting cut before the final release. The idea behind it was to give players an intense wave-based survival mode where they could fight off endless waves of enemies. While it didn't make it into this game, the concept wasn't forgotten. It eventually found its way into Halo 3 ODST, where it was fully realized and became a standout feature that fans really enjoyed. The mode added a whole new level of replayability and cooperative fun, proving that sometimes great ideas just need a little more time to shine.
In the immersive world of Halo 3 ODST, players can discover identification badges. Small, hand-sized cards typically used for personnel identification in security and professional settings. These badges, featuring detailed images amidst the game's graphical environment, are scattered throughout both the Firefight and campaign modes. They are used for security reasons, jobs, etc. The kind of thing you see when watching Severance. By now, most of us have probably had one or used one at least once in your life. Well, as I mentioned before, these badges can be found in a few different places, such as the Firefight level security zone, where there are 2 badges that can be located near the spawn point on the table in that room behind you. 4 ID badges can be found on the floor of the bottom level of the building you start in the Firefight mission Rally Point among the litter. There is another ID badge on the level Data Hive when you come into the White Room just after you find Veronica Dare, with vents on the wall behind the door. Once you go in, go to the vent on the right and there will be a badge stuck to the grate. Those 4 badges on Rally Point can also be found during the campaign in the same place. Kind of fun to see such detailed pictures in a sea of megapixels. Ah yes, the Covenant. A solid campaign level in Halo 3, which to be honest, I enjoy them all. On this level, players can discover a hidden feature involving Microsoft's text-to-speech voice, Microsoft Sam, which many of us may have already forgotten about. To experience this, start the mission on normal difficulty or higher. After defeating the Scarabs, acquire a Hornet or Banshee and fly to the right ledge of the Citadel. Proceed to the end of the ledge until you reach a wall. After waiting for approximately 2 to 3 minutes, you'll hear Microsoft Sam delivering humorous commentary about the game and its developers. It's as simple as that.
I am a monument to all Marty's sins. LOLOLOL.
In the expansive universe of Halo, developers have placed the most intricate details to various cultural touchstones. One such subtle reference is the tale of Jonesy, a calico cat aboard the UNSC Pillar of Autumn. Presumably a cherished companion of a crew member, Jonesy went missing, prompting the appearance of lost notices on bulletin boards throughout the ship. These posters can be spotted in multiple locations during the level The Pillar of Autumn in Halo Combat Evolved. The narrative thread of Jonesy continues into Halo 3. In the Crow's Nest level near their restroom area, players can discover a discarded note amidst a pile of debris. Partially obscured, the message reads, "Still missing my cat, Jonesy," thus expanding on the lore of Jonesy. The inclusion of Jonesy is a deliberate reference to the Alien film franchise. In the original 1979 movie Alien, the spaceship Nostromo houses a ginger American short-haired cat named Jones, affectionately called Jonesy, serving as the ship's cat. Jonesy then becomes an iconic figure in the horror genre. By integrating Jonesy into the Halo series, the developers pay tribute to the cinematic classic. Who the hell is Jason Jones? And more importantly, where is he? In the Halo 3 campaign levels The Storm and Floodgate, you can discover a missing person poster featuring Jason Jones, co-founder of Bungie Studios. This poster is located in the same area in both levels, though it's more challenging to read in Floodgate due to the dim lighting. In The Storm, near the final outdoor section leading to the anti-aircraft battery, proceed through the enemies until reaching the Prophet of Truth's hologram projector. From there, turn left into a narrow corridor with openings on both sides. The poster lies on the floor within one of these openings on the left. This poster provides specific details about Jason Jones, including his physical characteristics and last known whereabouts in Voi and New Mombasa. He was dressed in khaki shorts and a dark baseball cap. Notably, the file number 117343 are obviously references to Spartan 117 and 343 Guilty Spark. Additionally, the missing since date is November 9th. Which aligns with the release date of Halo 2 on November 9, 2004, the last Bungie game where Jones served as project lead. The contact number for the Void Greater Outlands Police Bureau ends with 343, further nodding to 343 Guilty Spark.
At precisely 6:36 Pacific Time on the 28th of February 2009, in a 3-minute and 19-second game of Infection on Foundry, 4 players participated in Halo 3's 1 billionth match. In comparison, Halo 2 had 800 million games played at the time. Even by today's standards, a billion matches is no small feat.
There are ships in the UNSC fleet with crazy names, like the UNSC Walk of Shame, an ode to those of us that have left a Tinder date's home after a night out. I mean, it wasn't Tinder back then, probably more like Craigslist, but you get my point. There's also the UNSC Say My Name, for those Destiny Child fans out there that also played Halo. In one of our latest videos, someone left a comment asking us to provide a fact about ourselves. Well, Paris's gamertag name, or whatever they're called these days, has the word Kayenta in it. And there's also a UNSC ship with the same name titled UNSC Kayenta. There's also a ship called the UNSC Paris. Coincidence? I think not. That wraps up Halo 3. Thanks for watching, we really appreciate it. Consider liking the vid and subbing for similar content. And remember guys, enjoyed time is never wasted time, and we'll see you in the next.